Happening now, details for the Jamestown City Council member who passed away suddenly over the weekend have been announced for their funeral. Plus, the latest efforts to help landlords and tenants who are still struggling with paying their rent more than a year into the pandemic.
Well, happy April Fool's Day, but this is no April Fool's joke. Some more snow is in the forecast for it tonight. We'll time it out next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Funeral arrangements for late Jamestown City Councilwoman Victoria James have been announced. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. A walk-through wake will be held from 4 to 7 next Tuesday at Lind Funeral Home on 3rd Street in Jamestown. A private family service will be streamed online the following day starting at 10:45 in the morning. The councilwoman's daughter says James passed away peacefully following what's believed to be a heart attack on Saturday night. The 62-year-old's death was very sudden and shocking to many, but most of all to her family, who just last week lost their grandmother as well. James spent more than a decade serving the residents of Jamestown in both city and county government. She is survived by her husband, 2 children, 6 grandchildren, and 3 sisters. Memorials may be made to the Vicki James Fund at Lakeshore Savings Bank. Well, President Biden has unveiled a more than $2 trillion infrastructure proposal, but the focus is on more than just planes, trains, and automobiles. As Mary Maloney explains, to partly pay for the sweeping plan, the president wants to increase corporate taxes, a move some in Congress are already criticizing.
President Joe Biden making his pitch to fix some of the country's most pressing problems.
It's a once-in-a-generation investment in America.
A more than $2 trillion investment to rebuild America's airports, ports, railways, and roads.
Unlike anything we've seen or done since we built the interstate highway system and the space race decades ago.
It's not just investing in infrastructure. The sweeping American Jobs Plan dedicates billions of dollars to manufacturing, while also providing money to care for aging Americans, build or renovate schools and housing units, upgrades to water systems, and access to high-speed internet. The president pledges his proposal will create green jobs while reducing climate change.
The American Jobs Plan will lead to a transformational progress in our effort to tackle climate change.
To pay for the plan, President Biden wants to raise taxes on businesses, including increasing both the corporate income tax rate and the minimum tax for American companies that acquire or merge with foreign businesses. The tax hikes turning off Republicans.
The only thing it appears they're in favor of is more government spending, more taxes, and more government power over your lives.
The bill's passage in the evenly split Senate is far from certain.
It's big, yes. It's bold, yes. And we can get it done.
In Washington, I'm Mary Maloney.
Well, now that recreational marijuana is legalized here in New York State, many are asking what specifically is included in the law. Well, right now, people 21 and older can use, smoke, ingest, or otherwise consume marijuana or other related products. However, it is illegal to drive while under the influence. The legislation took effect immediately yesterday, though sales won't start right now. Legal buying and selling of recreational marijuana will take a while as New York sets up rules and a proposed cannabis board. That could take 18 months to 2 years to start. The governor's office will begin setting up that brand new agency called the Office of Cannabis Management, who will establish guidelines for issuing licenses for marijuana farming, processing, distribution, dispensaries, and even some retail consumption sites. Well, back here at home, the Jamestown Police Department is giving out 500 boxes of food to those in need ahead of the Easter holiday. Jamestown Police's Community Resource Officer, Matt Reinhardt, tells us The free food, part of the USDA Farms to Families program, will be distributed starting around 10:30 this Saturday at the Christ First United Methodist Church on Lakeview Avenue. For the past few months, officers have partnered with the Outpour Project to make food available to those in need. No registration is needed, Reinhardt only asking residents to follow the traffic map posted on the department's Facebook page.
I hope the food helps those that are in need. We have a lot of it to give out, and we encourage people to, of course, come. If they have a neighbor or somebody in their community that maybe can't make it, we urge people to help them out, to pick up a box for them. There's enough in each box for a small family. It's very beneficial for those who are struggling with the current times or who have extra people coming over for the holiday.
Now, each weekend through the end of April, Jamestown Police will continue to distribute the food to the community. Officers are trying to host sites at various locations around the city to reach as many neighborhoods as possible. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now as we get a check of some local news headlines this afternoon. Such a great initiative to see by our men and women in blue, really giving back to the community, and folks who really already give back every day with their service. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. It's great to see Sheila, good to see Diane, Marley, Connie, and Zana as well. Hopefully you all are having a good day. We appreciate you tuning in for our daily newscast. And part of that newscast is, of course, the weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us live in studio with a check of that. And it is April 1st, D, so we start off a new month. But you're not fooling around with this weather today.
No, I mean, you know, this is Mother Nature's prank on all of us for April Fool's Day. And, you know, it's like what we said yesterday. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. Like in the words of Elton John, don't shoot me, I'm only the piano player. This is a live look over Chautauqua Institution. You can see some of the light accumulation that fell. 29 degrees right now. This is the snow that has came through this morning. Again, just that little bit of a light accumulation, but there was some accumulation out of it this morning, and it's all actually tapered off now, moved off to the east, and a lot of it has since tapered off here. But there's going to be some more scattered snow showers, especially setting up through the afternoon. This is the snow totals we had. Came in this morning, 2 inches in Mayville, 2.0 inches there, 1.3 in Franklinville, Ishway in Cattaraugus County, about a 700th of an inch, a 100th of an inch in Dunkirk, and only more than a trace in a DeWittville in both Garys. So again, we have a little bit more snow on the way, but it's not going to be much. But it's going to be cold, 28 to 35 today. This is well below average to where we should be. Scattered snow showers, some breaks in it at times, and there's going to be a bitter wind chill out there. It's going to be feeling more like the teens to 20s out there with a northwest wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. The sun will be back tomorrow, then the temperatures slowly climb as we go into the Easter weekend into early next week. We'll talk about it in detail with that 42 degrees and sunny 7-day forecast later in the show. Justin.
All right, Dakota, looking forward to that. Thank you. Well, dozens of New York lawmakers are calling on the state's governor to provide financial relief to tenants and landlords statewide. State Senate Minority Leader Robert Ortt says that statewide moratorium that doesn't allow tenants to be evicted for not paying their rent is set to expire May 1st. The regulation also doesn't allow banks to force landlords into foreclosure. Ortt, along with several of his Republican colleagues, say when the order expires, both landlords and tenants could be out on the street.
Let's get this going today to really provide real relief. $1.3 billion is sitting there. Most people probably don't know about it. I bet you a lot of our tenants don't know about it. I know some of our small business landlords know about it, but we can get this money into people's hands, provide them relief that they desperately need as we now are approaching beyond a year of this pandemic.
The senator says more than a dozen states, including California, have already enacted some sort of legislation that provides relief to their tenants and landlords. Well, millions of people are getting vaccinated against COVID-19, and as states like New York continue to expand their eligibility, the manufacturers of all these shots in the U.S. are still testing, still working to increase production capabilities. Britt Conway has a roundup of the latest news about each of the shots.
The vaccine rollout continues. Between Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, nearly 38% of U.S. adults have had at least one dose of a vaccine. And the manufacturers of each vaccine continue to ramp up their efforts. Let's start with Pfizer. The company says its COVID-19 vaccine proved 100% effective in a small clinical trial of 12 to 15-year-olds. The Food and Drug Administration will still need to allow that age group to get the shot, but
the bottom line is that by the fall, I think there's a good possibility we'll be vaccinating teenagers 12 and up.
Pfizer is also working on a ready-to-use vaccine. To Moderna now, which is testing its vaccine on teens and kids too.
We were excited at the opportunity to be a part of it.
And the company just started a clinical trial for a vaccine designed to protect against the variant first identified in South Africa. And to Johnson & Johnson. The drug maker says some ingredients accidentally got mixed up at a Baltimore plant, ruining as many as 15 million potential doses. But the White House is stressing it will not affect President Joe Biden's ultimate goal of making vaccines available to all Americans by May.
Okay, here we go.
As more people get vaccinated, there's going to be a greater umbrella of protection over society.
So when vaccination becomes available, get vaccinated.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Britt, thank you. So far, over 30% of residents here in Chautauqua County have received at least one dose of the vaccine, making up nearly 39,000 people. Next, here, a lot more to tell you about the latest in the case of a wanted Erie, Pennsylvania man that was arrested here in Chautauqua County. And later, we take you to the new exhibit recording LGBTQ plus history in Jamestown. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues on this 1st of April.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Honest John's has what you're looking for. When you want it good, we're gonna give you lots more.
From freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has what you're looking for. And now 2 great locations, East 2nd Street and Fairmount Avenue. Order takeout or delivery today, online at honestjohns.pizza.
You're gonna get it good at Honest John's.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. A wanted man in connection with an Erie, Pennsylvania shooting was arrested in Chautauqua County yesterday afternoon. The Pennsylvania State Police saying 43-year-old William Koninsky was taken into custody in Ripley. His vehicle, troopers say, was previously located in that northern Chautauqua County village by our sheriff's office around 10 in the morning yesterday. He was wanted in connection with an early morning shooting in Waterford Township, Pennsylvania, and was believed to be armed and dangerous at the time. Well, troopers say they found a male victim with a gunshot wound in the block of West Drive in Waterford just after 6 in the morning. The 36-year-old was taken to UPMC Hammett Hospital. There's still no word on his condition. Well, it's a big sign of spring. Major League Baseball's opening day kicks off a full schedule of games today after COVID stalled the first pitch of 2020 until summer. Karen Kafa is out at the ballpark in Washington with a look at what fans can expect.
Major League Baseball opening what they hope is a 162-game regular season on Thursday after the COVID-abbreviated season in 2020. And with the pandemic still a concern, MLB still has health and safety protocols in place for all 30 of its clubs and has been working with them to help them safely welcome fans back to the stands. Yes, fans can come out to the ballpark in 2021, but just how many is going to depend on where you are. Teams have been working with MLB as well as their own public health and medical experts to create safe experiences. Here at Nationals Park, the District of Columbia says the Nats can welcome a max of 5,000 fans for their opening series against the New York Mets. In addition to required face coverings, concessions will be cashless and fans will be seated in pods of no more than 6 people, among other precautions. When the Mets go home to New York next week, Citi Field will be capped at 20% capacity, or about 8,500 fans, and fans will be required to show proof of a negative COVID test or full vaccination. Down in Dallas, the Texas Rangers will play their home opener before a full capacity crowd, though after that they'll offer a limited number of distanced seating sections. Major League Baseball is also strongly encouraging players to get vaccinated. On Monday, the league and the Players Union informed clubs they'll relax certain safety protocols if certain vaccination thresholds are met, according to a source with knowledge of the agreement, maybe allowing them to reintroduce locker room amenities like saunas, whirlpools, and pool tables. Of course, a number of MLB parks have served as mass vaccination sites, including Fenway Park in Boston and Yankee Stadium in Citi Field in New York, and Dodger Stadium out in Los Angeles, previously one of the largest coronavirus testing sites in the entire country. And the Dodgers come into the spring as the champions of that 2020 shortened season. The Nationals were the World Series champions during the last full season played in 2019. Fans from the West to here in the East eager for this sign of spring and maybe a little normalcy. At Nationals Park in Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Yeah, certainly, Karen. Thank you. Local baseball, like the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, planning to get their season underway in early June. Well, speaking of spring, trout season opened this morning across New York State. This year, the State Department of Environmental Conservation is stocking 1.8 million catchable trout in waters across the state. The DEC saying this year's fish are larger and some streams will get 4 stockings of trout. Now, while on the water, the state is reminding anglers to stay smart when fishing. Be sure to follow social distancing, mask wearing when you cannot avoid distancing. And they say avoid sharing gear and respecting your fellow angler by giving them some space. Officials also remind you to take out what you bring in and be sure to place all trash in the right place. Now in the fall, anglers will be able to fish for trout throughout the state due to the creation of a statewide catch and release season that runs from October 16th through March 31st, providing the opportunity for those who normally don't have to wait for spring. Of course, you can't bring the fish home. Well, details for Saturday's drive-through Easter egg celebration at Allen Park here in Jamestown are just out. Officials with the city of Jamestown say the COVID-safe event will start at 10 in the morning and continue until candy runs out on Saturday. Masks and gloved volunteers will hand out that candy to families driving through in their cars. Now, families are asked to enter the route through the Allendale, Fairdale, and Springdale Avenues, that all off of Martin Road. It's the stretch of Dales. Traffic will be let out either through West Virginia Boulevard or Hughes Street. Of course, appearances from the Easter Bunny and the Tarp Skunk mascot, Whiffy, will also take place. It's great to hear. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. As we're going to check of some local news headlines. Dakota, I want to meet Whiffy. I think who doesn't love a giant skunk, really? Right. Whiffy the skunk. Just, you're going to need that mask. Pew. Yeah, you're going to really need your mask for him. Because, well, it's great to see Debbie. Good to see Kimberly, Pam, and Laura as well. Hopefully you all are having a good day. We appreciate you tuning in for WNY News Now. It's April 1st, and a lot of people assimilate April with spring, but you're probably not feeling it out there today anyways.
Nope. No, I mean, you know, Mother Nature is playing a very sick and cruel joke on us. And, you know, it's April 1st.
April Fool's Day.
Exactly.
But
So
we're
let's
not
bring
kidding
in
about this forecast.
Yes, exactly. So let's bring in some snow. So let's talk about the history for April Fool's Day for the city here. The hottest April Fool's ever was in 1998, where we had 80 degrees for the official high. The coldest ever was in 1987, where we only had a high of 25 degrees. The rainiest was in 1985, where we had almost 1 inch of rain on April 1st. And the snowiest was in 1987, where we had 7 inches of snow on April 1st. So Mother Nature can play all kinds of sick and cruel jokes on us on April 1st. And it's another one of those sick jokes today. 31 should be the official high for the city of Jamestown today. But notice how it's a slow progression. It's slow ride. Take it easy, Foghat. And we'll slowly start to raise the temperatures up as we go into early next week. We're talking likely lower 60s by Tuesday of next week. But man, 26. The average high this time of the year is 50. That's where we are as a noon hour. Healthy northwest wind to 17. Look at this wind gust, 37. That does not feel nice. And the wind chill is down to 13 when you combine the air temperature and the average wind speed together. So the wind chill impact meter, it's going to be a bundle up kind of day. Wind chills are going to be in the mid-teens to around 25. The 25 degree wind chill is going to be near the Lake Erie shoreline. Most everybody in the inland areas, mid to upper teens for wind chills. That's what it's going to feel like when you step outside today. And we still have a few flakes flying on the radar. This is kind of just south of Lakewood now on Route 60 here on essentially just south of downtown Jamestown going towards 62. And then we've got some more over Chautauqua Lake. Just these scattered light snow showers. But we're going to see some more of them because notice again the cloud cover spinning anti-clockwise. That's because we're wrapped up in the flow around the low off the northeast coast. So we're getting wrapped up in that cold air. That's what's bringing us the snow showers. And we could see some few pockets of limited lake effects. So here we go with Future Scan. Paints the idea of more snow showers coming in through the afternoon, scattered, and then we may actually see a weak response off Lake Erie, which may trigger at least a couple scattered light lake effect snow showers for the afternoon and this evening, and then watch the cloud cover and the snow disappear as we go into the overnight hours. We'll turn mainly clear, especially overnight, and then tomorrow a nice and sunny day, but it's still going to be chilly with that north wind, with that north to northwest wind. It's still going to be relatively chilly for tomorrow. So additional snowfall on top of what we've already got, a ½ inch to an inch. That's it. It's the who cares kind of snow, but it is snow nevertheless. It's April. What gives? Mother Nature, you've got problems. This is, huh?
Boo.
I know.
Nobody wants this.
I know. Temperatures will likely be in the 30s today, not the 40s, but the hills may get up to at least an additional 2 inches of snow with that northwest wind. Today is April 1st, which is also the first month of Autism Awareness Month. So again, same thing we do every April. You're going to see the autism puzzles on the 42 degrees and sunny 7 day throughout the entire month. And again, Saturday will likely be a better day. 49, Easter looking dry, close to 60, and then we'll bring in a chance for a few rain showers Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We'll take a break. Be right back. First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smoking deals on smoking accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. It's not just what we say, it's what we do.
Local first. It isn't just our slogan. It's our mindset every single day. So whether you're watching our daily live streams or staying up to date with reports on our website and mobile app, you'll always see the same attention to detail from reporters who passionately care about our community, who have one goal in mind: to always put the facts first.
For me, it's more than just getting the forecast right. What I love the most about my job is that I come into work every day to help break down the weather, letting people know how this is going to impact their day. We take pride that First Defense Weather is the only local weather team in the Southern Tier. We don't just copy and paste our weather from outside sources. Every part of our forecast is handmade right here in-house, something our team really takes pride in.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. Finally here today, the first exhibit chronicling LGBTQ+ history opened in Jamestown last night. The display, titled Protest and Pride, opened to the public at the Fenton History Center following a virtual ceremony. Now, since last year, the Historical Center has been collecting artifacts and stories from Jamestown's Pride community. Among the stories on display is former Jamestown City Council President and SUNY JCC Professor Greg Rabb, who says he's proud of not just how the queer community has come together, but all of Jamestown for being so accepting. However, he says that was not always the case.
When I got here in Jamestown in 1986 as an untenured young faculty member with dark brown hair and skinnier than I am today, I was scared to tell the college that I was gay because I was afraid I might lose my job. When I talk to younger people, I always say, imagine there were no gay rights protections back in 1986 when I got here. None, period, zip, nothing. And so I kept it quiet. And I realized that by doing that, I was destroying myself.
Now, the museum will continue to collect donations from the LGBTQ+ community going forward. That will be added to the center's archive. Certainly. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now as we get a check of some local news stories. Let us know what you think about these stories and more. We always love developing a dialogue, and I think that's one of the big things that this exhibit is trying to do. Is develop a dialogue with a section of the community that here in Western New York maybe doesn't always get a voice. And I know we've talked about this before, Dakota, at length, is the fact that at the end of the day, a lot of people just want to tell their stories. And it's really amazing to see all of the stories that are a part of that display. And there's so many of them that I know weren't included just because of space and time. You know, it takes time for Noah, the director there, and his staff to put them together. So, you know, he says we're certainly not going to keep anybody out, but continuing to chronicle that, and going forward, they might have more exhibits like that. So certainly it's a cool thing to check out.
And I mean, you know, everybody who is part of the LGBTQ community, you know, myself included, you know, we all have a story to tell about, you know, the questioning phase, you know, especially for me, you know, I went through years of questioning. I wasn't sure where I stood on the issue. And, you know, from the fear of rejection or the fear of, like, you know, as Greg Rabb said, the fear of possibly even losing jobs, our careers. I mean, you know, and, you know, it's so crazy to think about back in the old days that your ability to do a job had to do with your sexual preference. And it's absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, what does me enjoying the company of other guys have to do with the ability to do my job?
Right.
I mean,
and I think that's the biggest thing today that you look at it is it's we've come so far in that sense. And I know when you know, as a straight ally to you, I mean, you're one of my best friends. I love working with you. I would never want it to change. And when you came out to us and told the newsroom and the staff, obviously when you were comfortable, and you didn't necessarily have to, but we weren't going to conceal it either, because it has nothing to do with your weather forecasting ability. You were a great forecaster before, and you're just as good, if not better, now. So I'm glad that they're having this exhibit and that they're having that conversation. And I think it goes beyond just one section of the community. There are so many people who maybe now will feel more accepted to say, you know what, I'm not afraid to speak my mind and speak my piece. That goes whether you're gay or straight or in the middle. So it's...
And then plus, it's also great too for those who still maybe have that old worldview idea that being LGBTQ is wrong and all that stuff. I highly encourage you to check out the exhibit, because you will hear stories about all the people who have came out and see different things about the community that you may not know. And it might actually, and you might actually learn something about the community that you didn't know. And I'm not going to say it's going to change somebody's mind, but you know, even if you don't change your mind, you can at least come away with something that you didn't know before, and it just makes you feel knowledged, because you're learning something that you didn't, that you know, you might not have known, and you're like, I didn't know that. And you know,
and you might have a better sense of understanding too afterwards. And you know, whether you agree with something or not, I think part of the battle is to understand and to respect the other person's opinion. I've always felt that way, and I don't think that's a political issue. That's a human issue. You might not agree with what your neighbor said, but at the same time, we're all in this boat together. And we all, I think at the end of the day, have the same sense of community where you want to be good to your neighbor.
Right. And I mean, you know, Sophia on the Golden Girls said it best. Everybody wants someone to grow old with. Why, you know, obviously, why shouldn't Clayton, who is Blanche's brother, who is gay, have, you know, essentially, why shouldn't he have that same chance?
Right. Absolutely. Give it to Dakota to bring it back to the Golden Girls. I love it. That's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNY News Now. Great to see Linda, good to see Marie and Rachel. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll leave you with this live look over downtown Jamestown. Dakota and I are back tomorrow right here at noon with a check of local headlines. We hope you can join us.